When you ask someone what God looks like, the answer is almost always pretty easy to guess. An old man with a soft but very deep voice, grey hair and beard, both of very considerable size. A calm but firm face with a very serious appearance. It is a widespread belief, based on most Christians around the world and even non-Christians. Going deeper, it is a completely Western culture to even believe that he is like that. In general, the representations are formulated to look like Europeans, white and with the appearance of a serious man. Even in audio-visual productions, the representation takes place this way. The same script happens when talking about Jesus. A calm-looking man, white, with long bearded locks, something again very similar to a European. But if you know the region where he was born, in the Middle East, you know that the average man in that area doesn't match any of these characteristics. It even differs a lot from the specific European phenotype that you always see in the images. Therefore, we want to present at this moment what Jesus really looked like. And following a tip from someone who understands the subject, a specialist historian called Joan Taylor, a professor at King's College in the city of London, England, sought to recreate the image of Jesus in the most faithful way possible, using archaeological, historical, and historical records. Bible itself. It was definitely not like the one represented by Leonardo da Vinci. The Bible says in 1 Samuel 16:7, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or the greatness of his stature, for I have rejected him. For the Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at what is before his eyes, but the Lord looks at the heart." According to the Bible, Jesus was born around 4 BC in Bethlehem. The date comes from the end of Herod's reign, the reference in the Gospels. He spent his childhood in Egypt shortly before moving to Nazareth. The writings make almost no mention of their characteristics, just a few references to the clothes that the Nazarene and his disciples wore. Based on skeletons of men from Judea, it indicates that Jesus was around 160 meters tall. That's the average of first-century Jewish men in skeletons found by archaeologists, having brown eyes, black hair, and olive skin, as the Jews of that time were described. They kept their hair and beards short to get rid of lice. He believes that since none of this is mentioned in the Bible, Jesus was probably average. Someone would have noticed if he was lighter, hairy, bearded, with eyes of an atypical color. Jesus was also described as a carpenter who went on many walks and sometimes had nothing to eat. Thus, Taylor believes he was probably lean and muscular. Based on the work he did, Jesus was a physical man. He should not be represented as someone who lives a light life, and that is often the image we have. Regarding his clothes, Jesus must have worn Roman-style sandals, probably well patched from so much use. He was wearing a tunic, a shirt that reached above his knees, and a rolled-up cloth served as underwear. Both were the natural color of the fabric, as white or dyed were expensive. Unless one of his followers gifted him with new clothes, they were probably well worn as well. Taylor also believes that paintings that depict Jesus as a man are too handsome. If he were really like this, the gospel writings or other writers would have noticed. Moses and David are portrayed as very handsome men in the Hebrew Bible. These are not historical data that will change my opinion about Jesus. In my view, there is no way to think about everything he taught and went through and not feel compassion. He is my greatest mentor. I will always follow him and seek guidance from his demonstrations. It's important to remember that Jesus' message of love, compassion, and forgiveness is more important than his physical appearance. And what's your opinion on all of this?